Mikey and Ayanokouji both have lengthy martial art history under their belts. In terms of fighting intellect, Ayanokouji easily has the edge, having the higher IQ and being experienced in more martial arts. Ayanokouji is from the fourth generation of White Room students who focus on pure individualism. With all of the students dropping out due to its excessively harsh education, almost everybody from this generation of children are gone except for only one child who managed to survive and pass the final course easily. Due to being trained under excessive individualism, children were often crushed one after another until the last one remained standing strong. Ayanokouji was trained by teachers who specialize in martial arts, self-defense techniques and are said to be at or above professional level. Tsukishiro, when discussing Ayanokouji with his spy, he noted that Ayanokouji has an undefeated record against professional level fighters. Also beat multiple agent level fighters at around the age of 5 to 6 years old. Ayanokouji's fighting style is mixed martial arts. This is a mix of multiple martial arts in that one style depending on the opponent. Although Ayanokouji is too young to have mastered every single martial arts, he is still rigorously trained. Kiyotaka's proficient martial arts were seen when he completely overwhelmed Kakeru Ryun, who was a very capable fighter. The latter was easily defeated, causing him to end up be completely helpless against the onslaught of Kiyotaka attacks as he mercilessly punched him repeatedly for harming K. Kiyotaka proved to possess good endurance as he took a couple of blows from multiple opponents but shrugged them off as he managed to defeat and overpower Daichi Ishizuki easily, Albert Yamada and Mio Ibuki, despite him having a very large physique, and the other two being very skillful fighters in their own right. He was able to block Albert's punch with one hand, a person who was an entirely different weight class that can knock out people with one blow and cause serious injuries. Mio challenged Kiyotaka to a rematch and lost while believing Kiyotaka was fighting seriously but was actually not. In Volume 11.5, when Kiyotaka was approached by Ryun and was able to avoid all of his surprise attacks with perfect precision, it made Ryun call him a monster, the highest praise that he could describe another person. Ayanokouji has also faced both student council presidents in combat. Evaded every attack from Manabu, forcing him to create distance. Ayanokouji also knocked the second student council president out with a single punch to the chest. He fought Shiba and Tsukishiro with full strength for the first time in 2 years, causing him to sweat from the work. He dodged all of their attacks and evaded being captured until he got help from Kiryun. Mikey wasn't raised in a facility, but he does live inside his family dojo and a prodigy as early as 4 as he was showing kicking a closed top off of a bottle held by Shinichiro. Mikey has lifetime experience, is an elite fighter with mastery-level martial arts skills in many different styles. Age 4 is the earliest age we see Mikey training. At this age, Mikey was already labeled a prodigy martial artist with mastery over his technique, able to kick caps off bottles after they have been screwed closed. This is also around the age Mikey first started experiencing dark impulses after his mom died of an illness. Mikey became more brutal and more aggressive, picking fights with everyone, even multiple high school kids, and destroying entire gangs of 5,200 while still being so young. This is when his Invincible Mikey nickname came to life. Unlike most delinquents, Mikey is a master martial artist, which many fans mistaken about his character because they don't read Tokyo Revengers. He is rigorously trained and lived in a dojo for 17 years before becoming the #1 crime boss in all of Japan. Mikey's fighting style varies depending on his mental state. Mikey in his base state utilizes his kicks and calculated precision attacks, and he is known to keep his composure, while Dark Impulse Mikey attacks with his punches more and is more wild with less precision in his strikes. Most of Mikey's fights end after the first attack is thrown due to the speed with power he combines in his attacks. His favorite attack is a high roundhouse kick to the temple, which usually is never seen until the opponent is already unconscious lying on the ground. According to Ken Wakui, Mikey tends to utilize kicks more than punches to minimize the height difference between him and his opponents, thanks to his abnormal balance and flexibility due to his rigorous lifetime of training. Keisuke Baji also trained at Mikey's family dojo but has an entirely different fighting style than Mikey, proving that Mikey uses more than just karate. Ayanokouji is exceptionally fast. He has peak human running speed, possibly higher. He could have beaten Suzun's brother in a race, who is strongly implied to be the strongest and fastest student in the entire school in Ayanokouji's first year attending Advanced Nurturing High School, if it wasn't for another contestant falling over on his lane. Suzun stated that Ayanokouji, even in the race, was holding back immensely and that he is extremely fast and agile. It is implied he is about 75% of his peak self from the White Room. However, there are limits to his speed, and I want fans to understand the difference between a peak human and a superhuman. Ayanokouji does possess some superhuman-like speed traits, but most of his speed feats are feats that can be done by actual human beings. And if 75% of his speed is in the realm of Olympic track runners, then it's likely his 100% peak speed is faster than I or subsonic. I made a scale for Ayanokouji's race with Manabu using the speed of the fastest human in existence, Usain Bolt, who famously races the 200-meter, which is the same distance Ayanokouji and Manabu ran in the 6-person mixed-gender relay race. The result was 19.19 seconds and was calculated at 10.44 meter per second, slightly above peak human speed. There are other feats that need to be debunked, like Nanesa's starter pistol feat. Nanese also raced in Ayanokouji's second year at the sports festival, and she reacted perfectly in sync with a starter pistol according to Ayanokouji. This feat is only athletic human fast, as starter pistols do not shoot projectiles, and it is completely normal for most track runners to react in sync with starter pistols. She did not dodge a shot, nor did she outpace anything. This is the starter pistol that Nanese reacted to. As you can see, there is no bullet or projectile being fired, only a sound signifying the start of the race. When Nanese is revealed to be the student working for Tsukishiro to expel Ayanokouji in their fight, Ayanokouji caused her hair to dance from the air created from his punch. Another feat mistakenly scaled. Fans think this feat is supersonic and that Ayanokouji broke the sound barrier, causing Nanese's hair to blow. It never once stated Ayanokouji broke the sound barrier with his punch, nor did he suffer any exterior damage his arm as a result. Which is what would happen to Ayanokouji, since he is a part of a realistic human-level verse. The same with the Shiba feature. Ryuun became obsessed with Ayanokouji after his fight with him in Volume 7. In Year 2 Volume 6, Ryuun launched his projectile orange juice at Ayanokouji to prove how abnormal he is to catch Tsurugi. Ayanokouji effortlessly dodges the projectile juice, which should scale from superhuman to faster than eye speed. In Year 2 there are 2 more White Room students introduced. A male named Takuya Yagami and a female Ichika Amasawa. They both are from different generations than Ayanokouji, but the skill sets are similar. Ayanokouji is the masterpiece of the White Room and is often used as a goal to reach for the students to reach or surpass. While some students like Ichika grew to idolize Ayanokouji, others like Yagami want to prove their worth by defeating Ayanokouji. Ichika punched Kushida so fast her brain only registered the sound connecting on impact. She also created after images when dodging Kushida's attacks. Although she has FTE speed, she was no match for Yagami and Ayanokouji, who both easily blitzed her to keep her from on separate occasions. Although in Ayanokouji's case she still could react but wasn't fast enough, meaning all 3 have similar speeds, with Ayanokouji being the fastest character in Classroom of the Elite. Manabu Harikata, the elder brother or Suzune Harikata, is a 5th dan in karate and 4th dan in aikido, meaning he is rigorously trained like a White Room student. Ayanokouji was able to evade all of his strikes, but was almost kicked by Manabu, saying too close when he barely evades the kick he threw. Manabu doesn't have FTE attack speed and almost landed a kick on Ayanokouji, so a better trained, 10 times faster character like Mikey would easily land hits before Ayanokouji even knew what happened. Mikey is scaled to have hypersonic travel speed, with at least supersonic plus attack speed by Black Dragon Arc, using a lowball scale which can easily be scaled higher and higher during the final arc according to Takemichi. Mikey got faster after learning Takemichi can read his moves using foresight ability similar to observation hockey. Unlike Ayanokouji, Mikey is a part of a fantasy verse with hacks and powers, so unrealistic feats will happen more often. Like Mikey's kick breaking the sound barrier in Chapter 106 when he disappeared completely from sight and kicked Teiju, with several ongoing viewers having late reactions. Characters like Izana and Drayton are bullet dodgers, both having feats of outpacing guns that were already shot, making it projectile dodging. Mikey far exceeds these feats. Using VS BattleWiki speed blitz rules, Mikey only has to be 2.5 to 3 times faster than Ayanokouji to speed blitz him. Mikey is 62.282 faster than Ayanokouji. If we were to bump Ayanokouji to 100% and make him an entire tier faster, he still would be blitzed, as Ayanokouji had subsonic plus reactions. Mikey would still be at least 13.119 times faster than Ayanokouji. The strength gap is also wide. Ayanokouji can get his grip strength up to 100 kilograms. Overpowered Housen, who has similar physical power to Albert Yamada, has equal physical strength of Konji, who tied in tug of war with Ayanokouji, caught the fist of Sudao, climb high trees with speed and proficiency, and wrestle to kill a wild boar. These are all feats in line with peak human physical strength, as real-life humans have had grip strength exceeding 100 kilograms. Mikey has class 5 lifting strength, as he lifted Chanbo with just his leg alone to deliver a brutal kick to Kazuotora. Used his own leg as a brake for his motorcycle he was driving at full speed. Although Mikey is short, he is top 4 in physical strength behind Teiju Shiba, Tyranno South, and Muto. I will be using a hypothetical wall-level feat to prove even if you highball Ayanokouji's attack potency and durability he will still be one-shot by Mikey or all Tokyo Revengers fighters. In Volume 4.5 Ibuki dented an elevator when she kicked it. I made 2 scales for both types of metal, used 304 metals and 316 metals to create elevators. The highest output I got is 5 kilojoules for 304 and 8 kilojoules for 316 metal. Most fans don't read the light novel, so they listen to what they hear on the internet for Ayanokouji feats. Ayanokouji never kicked the elevator himself and only stated he can create a small opening. I will be using a hypothetical wall-level feat to prove even if you highball Ayanokouji's attack potency and durability he will still be one-shot by Mikey. The highest API postage using the elevator feat is 8 kilojoules, but let's use an even higher AP feat for Ayanokouji. Konji hunted a Ussuri wild boar located in Eurasia and China which scales to 9B with an attack potency of 26 kilojoules up to 31 kilojoules. Mikey on the other hand generated 527 kilojoules with bad balance on his kick due to the trap Kazuotora set, and higher AP calculations for Mikey have been accepted, but I will use the most known scale for him of 322 kj. So I will be lowballing Mikey while highballing Koji and the result will still remain the same. Characters have to have an attack potency 7.5 times higher than the opponent's durability in order for a one-shot to happen. May fans believe Ayanokouji can use pressure points by attacking Mikey's weak points to negate the huge AP difference. But Mikey is still a prodigy fighter with a speed advantage as well and would know his weak points can be targeted coming into any fight he gets into. 322 kilojoules minus 31,462 is 290 kilojoules, meaning Mikey's lowball attack potency is 290 kilojoules more than Ayanokouji. 31,462 times 7.5 is 235,000 joules. Meaning Mikey needs at least 235 kilojoules to one-shot Ayanokouji, in which Mikey has at least 322 kj using the lowball calculation. Mikey one-shots Ayanokouji even if you highball him. In the fight with Ryuun's gang, Ayanokouji slightly hurt his hand when he punched Albert due to his dense muscles, which shows there are limits to his attack potency. Although he still easily beat him by attacking his solar plexus and other pressure points, it just shows the difference in attack power since Mikey has one-shots him far bigger than Albert and Teiju Shiba. Also watch the difference in attack power of these characters. When Drayton punches Hanma he flew several meters away even after he blocked it. Baji hit Kisaki with a pipe and it made him fly off the car. Mikey kicked Kazuotora making him fly through the air with a basic side kick. Benkei sent the 7-foot south flying 2 meters away with his punch. Even Kisaki made Chaji hit a flip when he punched him. If you compare this to Classroom of the Elite fights, it's not even a comparison who is stronger. Ryuun barely makes K fly with kick, and Ayanokouji made Ryuun fly only a few feet away. Although both have superhuman pain tolerances, Mikey has shown to have a higher durability. Mikey took a brutal beating with repeated blows to the head face with a metal pipe by Kazuotora, but then used his own to headbutt Chom right after the repeated pipe blows. Mikey also has a tendency to punish himself when someone he cares for deeply dies around him. He has done for Shinichiro against Kazuotora, within which he mentioned Shinichiro and snapped after to solo all 3 Valhalla captains. Let Teiju hit him with his hardest punch for Baji's death. Let Drayton hit him for Emma, Izana for Emma, then Kikucho for Izana, and in the final arc for Drayton in his fight against Takemichi. All of these characters have higher attack potency than Ayanokouji. Ayanokouji endured intense treatment in the White Room. The many years of White Room training has made Ayanokouji super durable with a very high pain tolerance for his stamina and endurance. But, Ayanokouji stated several times he can be caught off guard and severely hurt or killed by attacks of people far weaker than Mikey, like Tsukishiro, Shiba, and even Harikata with a water bottle stuck on her hand due to her athletic ability. According to Kiyotaka, she also punched him in the gut after the Manabu race and he winced in pain. Showcases he still feels pain if you hit him correctly. Ayanokouji can't afford to block a Mikey kick because it would either break his arms or Mickey would kick through his block, similar to how Drayton did Hanma. Sanzu also tanked the full-speed motorcycle driven by Teiju Shiba, which scaled to 200 kilojoules and only suffered a broken leg and arm. Keep in mind this feat is lower than Mikey's feat of destroying the hood of a car with bad balance. Mikey is far more durable than that. If Ayanokouji is hit by the same motorcycle Sanzu was hit with, it is likely he dies from the injuries. Mikey has the stamina advantage as well. He has multiple feats of defeating from 100 men to 400 plus men by himself, and has also claimed to be able to defeat 20,000 men. In Chapter 207, Mikey destroyed an entire Bosazuku gang by himself, while Sanzu Watch then did the same in Chapter 262 against Tomen's second-generation members and Kanto Manji gang members. Ayanokouji has great stamina as well with a high pain tolerance. He was stabbed in the hand by Housen when he attempted to save Harikata and Sudao. Housen is said to have comparable physical strength to Albert, yet Ayanokouji stopped his stab attempt with ease. While the feat is impressive, Takemichi has done this same exact feat against Kiyomasa. If he attempted to do the same feats as Mikey, he would suffer from hypoxia due to his limits being shown to be far lower than Mikey's is. In Ayanokouji's fight with Tsukishiro and Shiba, the White Room agents posing as ANHS staff members, Ayanokouji was pushed to give his full effort for the second time at school during this fight, having to flee multiple times and even breaking a sweat for the first time in 2 years. Unlike the Ryuun gang fight, Ayanokouji couldn't handle this fight alone and needed help from Fuka Kiryuun. He admitted that Tsukishiro is one of the best he's ever faced and is on the same level as him, a level much below where Mikey currently stands. Many people believe manipulation would work on Mikey because of Kiseki, but leave out the context of the situation. Ayanokouji is a super genius and he is smart enough to know how strong and dangerous Mikey is and wouldn't see a real benefit in doing so. But hypothetically, say he wanted to attempt to manipulate Mikey. It would go totally different than Kiseki. Ayanokouji is smarter than Kiseki, but in this instance he never met Mikey and would need time to gather information to use, but Mikey has enhanced senses and could figure him out before any real manipulation happens. Ayanokouji is smarter and capable of more creative ways to get things done than Kiseki, but we don't know if he's willing to commit serious crimes in order to manipulate, which Kiseki obviously did. In Kiseki's case, Kiseki needed Mikey, Mikey didn't need Kiseki. Kiseki wanted to control Mikey and his army, but if you read Tokyo Revengers, Kiseki manipulated everyone besides Mikey. Yes, Mikey allowed him into Tomen, which caused all of the turmoil. But in the Black Dragon arc where Valhalla and Tomen merged, it was revealed Mikey used Kiseki for extra soldiers, then fired him before he could finish his plans, meaning he figured Kiseki out but let him meddle around in Tomen because he wanted to use his Valhalla members. The only time Kiseki ever took over Tomen was when Mikey went off the deep end and went missing or on the run from police. No one else is strong enough to handle entire gangs besides Mikey and Drayton, and Kiseki set Drayton up or Mikey kills him in every timeline, so Kiseki is never stopped. Kiseki's manipulation was rooted in gaining financial wealth and social power to impress Takemichi's girlfriend Hinata, who is revealed as his lifetime crush, and the reason he manipulates his way into Tomen to gain these things to have the confidence and resume to propose to Hina, which obviously was rejected. Ayanokouji on the other hand has no interest in any of that, and his manipulation would be rooting in defeating Mikey, who he can't defeat with physical attacks even with weapons due to the difference in durability, which is why he wouldn't bother to try in the first place. Mikey is the more brutal, aggressive fighter, willing to kill his opponents every time he decides to fight. If his dark impulse activates in the middle of the fight, he will lose control and brutally beat him to death like he did Kazuotora, Takemichi and South. Ayanokouji did something similar to Ryuun, but he is a much weaker delinquent than the 3 delinquents I named. Mikey's feats are just on a higher level. He defeated the Tomen captains Drayton, Mitsui, Chifuyu and Hake with a smile on his face, all of which can defeat 20 to 100 enemies alone, and Mikey stomped them all at once. This is harder to accomplish than defeating Ryuun's gang, who probably can't even beat 5 people individually besides Albert maybe. Very young Ayanokouji has his best feats, speaking on which he was still in the White Room. Ayanokouji is said to be about 75% of what he once was due to his limited working out. He only does Tebow in his spare time to keep in some kind of fighting shape. In a battle o strength, Mikey wins almost every time, even if Ayanokouji has prep time. The physical difference is just far too different, and if Mikey wanted to, he can end Ayanokouji without him ever noticing he was in a fight with someone. Although he is smart enough to put things together himself. So the overview reasons Mikey wins are via outscaling and feat level difference. Comparable fighter for Ayanokouji in Tokyo Revengers would be Ryusei Sato. Mid-tier fighter with low wall level attack potency, around 22 to 24 kilojoules in his attacks. Mikey could beat every character in the classroom verse at the same time, similar to how he does in his own verse. This matchup is not even close. Comparing Mikey to Ayanokouji is like comparing Baki to Oma. Both are strong in their own respective right, but Mikey's strength is unrealistic, which is why he almost will always win this fight. Kote only has 3 super strong characters, which are the White Room students, and they are all rigorously trained. While Tokyo Revengers has over 10 superhumans who never trained in their life and are faster, stronger and more durable than Kote characters. Characters like Wakasa, Angry, Kikuto, Baji, South, Senju can speed blitz at supersonic to supersonic plus speeds, while characters like Mikey and Izana can reach hypersonic. Other characters like Drayton, Teju, Muto, Mikey and South can lift hundreds of pound objects with literal ease, while Kote characters only have Albert and he is still physically weaker than Mikey. Mikey has multiple hacks, including his most famous Dark Impulse, which can negate or damage Ayanokouji. Ayanokouji's infamous Cold Stare won't work on Mikey due to Mikey being fearless or not even caring to acknowledge you if you aren't strong enough, said multiple times by Draken. He also has paralysis inducement via pressure points, as you see in his fight with South. After they collided, South couldn't move his body after wanting to continue. Takemichi had to attempt to save South but got his arm easily broken just like South due to Mikey having disarticulation as a special skill. Due to the trauma and damage from the blows, Ayanokouji would also be paralyzed or killed by Mikey attacks. Mikey also has accelerated development, being able to increase his speed even higher. He has rage power via dark impulses, berserk mode via dark impulses, also has acrobatics, being able to kick from unordinary positions, which could be difficult to read when on the defensive. I made a short story about 2 different occasions if this fight were to occur, with the battle situation of Mikey transferring into Ayanokouji's school after being hired by Ayanokouji's father, just to give a visual of how the fight would turn out. It's not perfect, but it's something for fans of these 2 series to enjoy like I personally do.
I'ma leave with you. If I walk up in the party, motherfuckers better move. If a motherfucker shot me, I'ma put him on the news. Don't want no